everyone, it is Kate from the Fold Line. I am back this week with a new video for you all. This week we're doing something a little bit different. It's one I've been wanting to do for a while, but just haven't got around to it, so now is the time. It's a bit of a different video, so that I'm going to discuss sort of two topics. The first one is about organising your sewing space, and the second one is about Me Made May and what I'm making and some advice that I need and help from you guys. So I watched, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen this series on Netflix called, actually I can't even remember what it's called, but it's Kondo, who is this amazing Japanese lady who helps people organise their lives. I think she had a blog and then got a book deal from it, and the book went mad viral, and Netflix gave her a series. So the series is, if you haven't seen it, it's not for everyone, but I watched it right in January, and it's quite I found it really soothing. So the video was, the premise of it is that she goes into people's homes and helps them organise their lives, basically like a cleaning, organising guru. So I sat down and watched them, and I found them really interesting and quite inspiring in a very sort of nerdy, organisy way. And I'm a bit of an organised freak as well, so for me, I really enjoyed it. But there was this part of it that I saw and thought, oh my gosh, this is absolutely perfect for sewing rooms. So it's about storing your fabric. So I've moved house about 6 to 8 weeks ago, a couple of months ago now, and I obviously sorted out my sewing room a little bit before I left, but I then unpacked it when I got here, and having to do that meant that I'd obviously got rid of some things and kind of decluttered a bit. But the way that Marie Kondo tells you to store your clothing can totally be adapted to fabric, and it has been an absolute game changer for me with my clothes but also with my fabric. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do it. It's very, very simple. It's not going to, it's very simple. But I'm also going to show you how it looks in my sewing space as well. So I will then show you all my kind of drawers of fabric so you can have a look, and I honestly, you're going to want to do this. So, right, I've got a bit of fabric here, and honestly, it's so simple. So here's my bit of fabric. So what you do is you fold, I'm going to fold it in on itself like this, and then from that you fold it in on itself again. So the great thing is that one, it's very neat. All of your kind of loose bits of thread, you know what it's like, all the kind of raw edges are concealed, which means you don't get kind of scrabbly bits. It also means that you can see here, I'm not holding it, it stands up on its own, which is fantastic. Once you've done this, you can then put them in a drawer standing up, like so, all lined up, so that when you open up your drawer, you can see exactly what fabric you've got. I am sure there are probably 90% of you that have all your fabric, like I did before, all stacked up in boxes or however you store it, and actually finding it is really difficult because you have to pull everything out, get it all like scrumpled, and this basically is just going to change your world. It seems so obvious, and I cannot believe that I've never thought of doing this. And it just means that everything's really neat and tidy, and it's actually a pleasure opening up my fabric drawer now to see all of my collection. The other thing that she talks about, which is again really, really simple to do and quite obvious, I'm sure maybe you do it already, but I didn't, was that within drawers she uses shoe boxes, perfume boxes, gift boxes to create kind of, I guess, like mini as kind of like dividers, so that you can put things in each little section, and it means that you don't open your drawer and it's like chaos, because I'm sure a lot of us, I definitely did, have, you know, fabric spools with that giant knot of random bits of thread, and, you know, all your sewing machine stuff everywhere. And it just means that when you open up your drawers, you can actually find what you're looking for. So I've done that. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm quite lucky. I've got a boyfriend who is a carpenter and a chef. I know, I'm lucked out, so he feeds me, but he also makes me things. So he actually has made me wooden dividers, but I was using the since we moved here, but I was using this sort of shoebox kind of system beforehand. And yeah, so I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you a little bit around my sewing room. I'm going to preface this by saying I've only been here a couple of months. It's not looking sort of Instagrammable. It's just functional at the moment. Because I've just arrived here, I didn't want to kind of do it too quickly. I wanted to sort of see how the space works, see how I use it. And it also is, although it's a sewing room, it's 99% of the time it's my office. So I do have my sewing machines on the desk, but generally, you know, it's set up for day-to-day computer-based work. I don't have all my projects everywhere. So I'm sure a lot of you have the same thing, where you have a space that you sew that is obviously not there all the time. You use the space for other things. So yeah, I'll give you a little kind of tour of how it's looking at the moment, and then hopefully at some point it's going to kind of get sorted. And also after that, I'm going to show you what I'm making, have a little chat about Me Made May, because that is in full swing at the moment, and it got me thinking about what I wanted to do this month, and I think I'll tell you a bit later about what my challenge is to myself. But one of my other challenges was to make sure that my sewing room was like organised and a nice place to come into, because if it's disorganised, I personally find I'm less inclined to actually get my sewing stuff out and actually make stuff. So yeah, organising is key. So I'll show you now my drawers, and you can have a look, and I would really, honestly, it's going to change your life for your fabric storage, because it then becomes curated and nice. And I was even thinking, which is a bit too far, about colour coding, or even doing like a rainbow of, or like rainbow of all my colours, coloured fabrics, although I realise most of them are navy blue. But so there's lots of nice ways. I think it's just nice to think about how you store stuff. And yeah, right, I'll show you my sewing space now. So believe it or not, I actually have very little fabric. I actually only have 2 drawers. So this is my desk here. Please excuse all the cables and everything. This is my drawer. So if you can see, I was talking about how you fold the fabric. I instantly pull this out and can see everything that I own. And it just makes it so easy. You can actually have a proper look at what you have. This is my other drawer. And even with here, you can see in this little corner here, this is all my sort of Liberty scraps. Everything's quite small in here, but it's still all kind of quite neat and easy to see, which has made a massive difference, because I know exactly what I have. The other drawer that I've got, I was talking to you guys, which is this top one here. This is quite, I've gone a little bit blurred here. We just hang on, it'll come back into focus. There we go. You can see here I've got everything sort of divided up so that it's really easy. So I've got threads, my big overlocker things here, sewing machine needles. These are kind of my basic threads that I use the most often. Then in here I've got buttons and spools. So it's very kind of organised and easy to find. This also lifts out. And underneath here I've got sort of interfacings, a kind of bits of sort of ribbons and kind of more hardware in there. But it's just really transformed. It's a very simple fix, but it's really transformed the way that I use my sewing space and how I sew. And particularly the storage. I mean, it really, I can't even tell you how much of a difference it's made. So I said I'd show you my little sewing room, and it is very dinky. So here's the door. This is all my shelving. Here's some more storage with lots of mess on the top. Those are things I've got cut out and ready to go. And a window looking out. And then this is my big sort of desk space. I've got a lot of bits on it at the moment because I'm sort of in the process of making. So yeah, this is what it looks like at the moment. It's definitely going to get kind of done at some point, but I'm not sure when. So I hope you enjoyed my little tour and my little Marie Kondo moment. I really would recommend doing it. I know I've now harped on about it 3 times, but it really has changed. It's a very simple thing. It doesn't actually take that long to do, and it does mean you kind of assess exactly what what and I don't know about you, but I was talking about this to Karen from Did You Make That, and she was saying that there's 2 types of sewers. There's the sewer who buys all the fabric and then picks patterns, or the people who get the pattern and then buy the fabric. And I'm definitely the second one. I pick my pattern and then buy my fabric. So my new thing is I'm trying not really to buy any fabric unless I've got it ready for a specific project, because I don't know about you, but I've also found that if something sits in my drawers for 6 months or more, I tend not to use it. You know, your taste change, your style changes, what you want to make changes. So yeah, I think I'm definitely really going to try and not kind of buy stuff unless I need it. I don't know if I have showed you this. This blouse actually that I made a couple of months ago. It's another Helmy tunic from Named Clothing. I have to say, guys, I'm pretty pleased. Look at that for some pattern matching, which I was very pleased with. This is a really beautiful fabric. It came from Fabric Godmother. I don't think she's got it anymore. With these big sort of statement spots. And this leads me on to Me May actually, because I'm sure, I think I've said it in another video, my pledge for Me May, and we're kind of a week in now, or a week and a half in, was to make time to sew in my working week, because it's hard. When you own when you turn your hobby into your work, it's very hard to actually make time to do your hobby anymore. So I have been cheating on sewing with work, and I'm trying to change that. And it's something that I want to have as a long-term goal. So my goal is to try and at least do 3 times a week, even if it's only for 15-20 minutes in my lunch break, like making that time to sew, because I love doing it and I miss it when I don't get to do it. So Me May, I've got a couple of things that I'm making. I just thought I'd show you as I'm doing sort of like a chatty, I don't know, ramble. And I also need your opinion as well, so I need some help. So the first thing that I'm making is I'll pop a picture of it. It's the Julienne jacket from Ready to Sew. As soon as this came out, I was going to say wet my pants, but that's not a very nice thing to say. I was extremely excited about making it. This is sort of a kind of, I guess, inspired by sort of French workwear jacket. It's really beautiful. And I found this really, not what I thought I was going to make it in. I was quite set on doing it in like a very heavyweight linen or a denim. But I found this really beautiful fabric, and I got the last of it, so I'm sorry. But it's from Fabrics Galore, where I buy quite a lot of my fabrics. And it's this really beautiful, it's like a wool twill. So it feels like super luxurious, and it's in cream, which I didn't think I would make anything in cream, but the fabric was just, you know how sometimes the fabric, it just decided itself for me. I just saw it, needed to have it. So on one side it's got this twill, which feels like a cotton twill, and then on this other side, it's got this kind of wool coating. I don't think you can probably see, very slight pile on it, but I've never seen a fabric like it, and it feels like really luxurious, and it's the sort of thing that you see Margaret Howell coats made out of and wonder where you could buy the fabric, and so this is the fabric. I'm really excited. So I'm making that in May. I haven't given myself too many things to make because I don't want to pile up the pressure of what I need to get done, because it's supposed to be fun. You know how you get like kind of manic about doing it. The other thing, so this fabric is what made me think. I bought this fabric in another colourway from Fabric Godmother, which is this. So it's a navy blue with a red giant spot. They're really big. You can see kind of the scale of them. I think this is ex Vivienne Westwood fabric. It's a sort of, I think it's like a viscose crepe, but it's really lightweight. I mean, it's perfect for blouses. So my big question to everyone is what to make with it. I have two options and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So the first one is the Zadie jumpsuit, which I'm sure a lot of you have got on your list to make this summer. I'll pop a link down below to it and I'll pop a picture up so you can see. Really beautiful. I think it would look freaking ace in this fabric. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is it's really quite fine, the fabric, and I'm just wondering whether you'd like see your pants through it. Well, not your pant, but your pant line. It also creases like a mother fudger, and I would worry that after wearing it for a little bit it would kind of really crease and you'd have to iron it every time you wore it. So that puts me off it a little bit, but I'm still going to have to iron it, whatever. So the other option is this, which is the Meridian dress from Paper Cut Patterns. It is totally and utterly gorgeous. I've wanted to make it for ages, so I'll just flip it around so you can see the line drawing of it. It's quite interesting. It's got these sort of long wrap over detail at the front. The reason I can't decide is I think the fabric is better suited to this, but I think I'd get more wear out of the Zadie jumpsuit. So I'd love to hear your thoughts because I really can't decide. I don't know which one to do. And I've got the Zadie jumpsuit as a PDF kind of ready to cut out, but I just need to decide. I mean, it would be pretty cool in this. And then I could wear trainers. Anyway, I'm gonna stop now. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was just a little, yeah, I just really wanted, going back to the Marie Kondo thing, I saw it months ago before I moved and I just thought this is so perfect for fabric storage, and yeah, I hope that kind of inspires you to sort out your space, because I know, well, I'm sure there's always a corner of everyone's sewing space that's full of piled up bits of fabric that aren't organised properly, and it's really nice once you've done it. I mean, it might feel like a big task, but once you've done it, you'll feel like $1 million. Right, so I'm going to love you and leave you, let you get on with your weekend, and we'll be back soon with another video. Bye!